behind the scenes with future country rock blues kings and queens. Discover them first with Palm Mash TV. Palm Mash TV.
Well, hello there. It's Palm Mash TV time again. Thank you so much for joining us. We got another great interview coming up for you in just a moment. But if you haven't yet, click that subscribe button and the bell, and you're always going to be notified of any new episodes coming your way. Leave a comment on the comment section as well. We'd love to hear from you there. And if you pay attention to the description part and the closing credits at the end of this episode, you'll have contact info for you. So I hope you'll stay tuned for that. From Boston, Massachusetts today, we have Heather and Steve Roy from the Autumn Soul Revival. And a really awesome group, and I think you're going to enjoy them. And we'll get to that in a second, but first here's a quick word from the Caden Gordon Show, so don't go away. We'll be right back right after this.
It is Caden from the Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. Check out my show at thecadengordonshow.com.
Okay, we're back, and with us from Boston, Massachusetts, we have Heather and Steve Roy from Autumn Soul with us today. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi.
Well, I'm glad that you can make it here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your story about how you wanted to become an artist? I mean, most people, start when they're real young, but maybe they fell into it later. Maybe you can tell us in your own words, though. We'd love to hear your story.
Okay. Both of us have a musical background with our families. I started singing at a very, very early age. I'm one of 8. I'm the 7th child out of 8 kids, 7 girls and 1 boy. So the way I was heard in the family was if I sang. So that's what I did. And I learned to sing, and I learned to sing, as high as I could. When I was younger, I was a soprano 1. I started out in church choir. Then I went to, chorus. And then I also got into the band, marching band and drama as well. And I was always surrounded by music. Music was my passion from a very early age. I can remember even as like in the middle school taking, whatever I could and pretending it was a mic because we couldn't really afford a lot. So I would improv with things, and I was always comfortable on a stage. I never shied away from a stage. So music was always my passion. It was always my desire. I just was afraid as a young girl in my 20s when I got married. I was afraid that I couldn't afford to be a musician and make that my life. So I pursued, life in accounting, and did that for 35, 36 years. And finally, but I started music way back then, and I always had music going on. I just didn't ever depend on it for a job. And then I made it a life choice not to ever depend on it for a job, just to always have the passion in it. So my dream was always to just get music back. And so 4 years ago, we retired, and music became our full soul focus and our everything. And I'm so happy we did that. So that was my thing in a nutshell. Steve's is
mine, like my dad was a barbershop, in a quartet. So the guys would be over in the kitchen doing harmonies. And my mother, she sang all the time. My grandparents, my brother and sister. So, I had it all around me. And then I was in the chorus and the band in high school, and I learned how to play the guitar. I took lessons at 10, and I didn't like it. But then at 12, all of a sudden I got the interest. I bought the Beatles books and forced myself to play the chords, and I took some lessons, and that's where I am now. And I met Heather. So,
and we met because of music. Actually, that's a whole other story. But we met when my sister Mary died 30 years ago, and we worked. He sat behind me at work, and I turned around one day shortly after she passed and asked if he played the guitar. And he said, "Yeah, I play in the closet, and no one's really heard me." And I said, "Well, record. I need to hear it." Because I have a song, Mary's song, but I don't play the guitar, and it needs a really sweet guitar. So he did. He went home that night and recorded a few Beatles songs, and and came back the next day, handed me the cassette. I listened to it and I was blown away. And I said, okay, you're going to be my guitarist, and we're going to do Mary songs. So Wednesday nights became our night to do music. And we just, it always, Wednesday nights were our music night. Ironically, now every other Wednesday night is an open mic that we absolutely love. So it's funny how throughout our whole 30 years, that was always music night. And
now when
it's
Heather
just
said she comes to the stage easy, I don't.
no.
I've always said, like, I couldn't do, the reports in school. I had the stage fright and everything. And it was the open mic that she was just talking about that went to. All the people are very supportive and helped me out of my shell. And now, I really don't have a problem with it anymore. So it's pretty good.
Well, as far as influences, I know you mentioned Beatles a few times, so I'm sure they were a big influence on you. But did you have any other influences? Or
Yeah, Jim Croce was probably one of the reasons I played the guitar too, other than the Beatles.
And I have a whole bunch of genres I followed.
British rock.
Yeah, British rock was big when I was younger. My mother and father were also singers, and as were most of my family were involved in music in one way, shape, or form. And so we did a lot of different, like I did a lot of classical, and I was classically trained by my organist and choir director at church. And it was very difficult when Steve and I first got together for me to find my true voice. I was always a high soprano, and I always sang what I call note perfect. Timing and everything had to be perfect. He got me out of that, and that opened a whole new world.
More into like a bluesy thing, because I heard like a sound in her voice. I said, just sing it like this. And I'm like, wow, do you hear that? She goes, yeah, okay.
So Steve's always been kind of my muse in that way. He's been my musical muse and has helped really form and shape.
Yeah, but as you might imagine, being like married to each other too, but in a musical group, we want to get the music right. So we have to kind of go like, okay, this is wrong. You know what I mean? But you're married to each other, so you can't take the music part seriously as an insult or anything. It's just, we're just trying to get it right.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good.
all right, yeah. Well, those are some pretty good artists. Like you mentioned, Jim Croce. I've always loved his music. Well, tell everybody how we can find your music. I'm sure it's on all streaming platforms, but maybe if you have a website and a social media as well, you can talk about that as well.
Yes, we are out on all streaming platforms, and on social media, we're on YouTube. We have our own website, which is autumnsoulrevival.com.
And that's the name of our album too, Autumn Soul Revival.
Right, because we revived some songs from 30 years ago from tapes that were done down in our basement, and revived the music and did our album with some of the older songs that we really, really loved and hadn't done in quite a while.
Pieced them back together and brought them back to life.
Yep. And we are also on Facebook. Yeah. We're under Autumn Soul Revival, also on Facebook. And we're out and about. We're pretty much out there on YouTube. There's a lot of different videos and things on YouTube.
All right, well, go check them out. Again, you're on streaming platforms, I think you mentioned. So
yeah,
out there and all those social media sites like Facebook and
yep.
YouTube. I know they would love to hear from you there. And I guess the song you picked for us today is called Dream Maker Man. Very great song too, by the way. Is there a story behind this song? Maybe you could talk to us about that.
Oh yeah, there is. At the time that we met, I was still married and on the brink of a divorce, and I had 3 small children. And Steve was dropping off packages of milk, bread, the kids' favorite cereal, and that type of thing week to week when I first was single. And I really didn't have a lot of money at all. I was barely getting by. And he was doing it anonymously. So
what the song was
he created the world where we could have music. And he's actually, I consider him my dream maker man.
And the song is basically a promise. Like if you don't have any food, I'll be a dream maker man. So that's when I wrote that song about that time frame.
Okay, I know you guys are going to love this song too, and we're going to get to that in a second. But guys, I want to thank you so much for being on the show today. We'd love to have you back again if you got anything new to plug with, for us in the future.
Oh yeah,
okay,
we're working
thank you.
on some now.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, here it is, Autumn Soul with Remaker Band, and it begins right now.
Say that I've got one dime in my pocket. Say I've got no food to eat. Say I've got no clothes upon my back, and wholly tattered shoes upon my feet.
You'll always have a place to go. You never want for nothing in your life. Hold on to your dreams, they'll be coming true. The real life comes and cuts you like a knife. Look to the stars, but don't look that far. Right here, I'm your dream maker man. It's plain to see what love means to me. Put your trust in the dream maker man. Oh, dream maker man. And if you're feeling sad now, baby, don't be scared, just reach out your hand. There's a star in the sky that's shining bright. The future now is better than you planned. Look to the stars, but don't look that far. Right here, I'm your dream maker man. It's plain to see what love means to me. Put your trust in the dream maker man. Oh, dream maker man.
So the world, it seems, is moving faster. No time to sit and talk, it seems. Keep the faith, baby, it's coming true. That real life can be better than our dreams.
Look to the stars, but don't look that far. Right here, I'm your dream maker man. It's plain to see what love means to me. Put your trust in the dream